Hey everybody, welcome back to the beard, sort of, and the bald.
Still bald.
Sorry, the beard. Chris Bumbray is our bald man. You're still bald, yeah?
Yes, I am still bald.
And you cut it, like,
Yeah,
or not cut?
I shave it. I shave it. I have clippers.
Shave it. Okay.
Yeah, I want once
You
a
use
week.
clippers or do you use like a straight edge?
No, I use clippers. I like to have a little bit of fuzz.
Little stubble.
I find it looks a little severe when you do the straight edge. I've done the straight edge though many times. I mean, I have clippers though that are pretty tight, so they cut it like pretty short.
Okay.
So it's like the Jason Statham look kind of.
Yeah. The head stubble.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I stubble my face as well, so it kind of matches up.
Hey, whatever works. I have my stubble. Now that my beard is on its way back. I think
I saw you last night on your live YouTube video after Game of Thrones. You looked like you had some nice stubble going. You look like Don Johnson.
Totally. I didn't have my sunglasses on to take them off
And you're pissed
again
out.
and again. Yeah, fuck. Yesterday was a long night. I watched the full episode, then directly went into the live stream, which was about an hour long.
Yeah,
Then
I
had
watched
to
some of it. You
finish.
did a good job.
Oh, thanks, man. And then after that, I had to write my review, which is obviously a lengthy review with so much happening in.
God, I was reading your review
episode.
this morning, dude. Jesus, how many words did you write? Like 2,000?
I don't know, it was a lot, but I was like,
Yeah.
there's just no way around it. I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
how do I not like this?
You
is
have
like
like
the penultimate episode.
you have like section breaks
Yeah.
and everything, like chapters.
Well, I mean, that's why I put in as many images
Yeah.
as I did so that I could
Yeah.
like break them up. And I even took like pictures with my phone of the episode because I couldn't find the images I wanted online. I was like, fuck this, man. I'm just going to go back. I'll take snapshots and just edit them in Photoshop, which is what I did.
My favorite reviews of Game of Thrones, though, I just discovered a couple days ago. So Leslie Jones does she waits until like about an hour after it airs as to not do spoilers, but then she just posts like a bunch of videos of like that she takes with her phone of the TV from like certain scenes, just with her screaming in the background, like what the fuck are you doing? And it was so good. She was like, Danny, please don't do this. Danny, please. Oh shit, great, we don't even give a fuck. He's all like, yeah, I'm ready. I lost my dick and my girl. I'm ready. Burn this shit down. And he is, though. Watched it. It was pretty rock and roll last night, man. I was watching it with Laura and she was just like freaking out. And then of course when I asked her very sincerely at the end of the episode if she was going to wait for me to watch it until I got home in case I couldn't watch it, she just looked at me and said no.
That's a lot to ask, man.
She said, I love you, but no. No.
Listen,
way.
Bastard, you're gonna be
no fucking way.
You're gonna be in London for the X-Men junket. I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah. She told me she would wait for me for Barry. That was it. Because Barry's very good this season too. But it ended on a big cliffhanger last night. But I don't blame her. I told her, I said, yeah, I don't expect you to wait. I mean, the thing is, like you said, I'm going to be in London for a junket, right? For the X-Men junket. And I mean, our demographic, I'm thinking a lot of people will be watching Game of Thrones. I reached out to Frosty from Collider to see what he was doing, and it kind of seemed like he had a way figured out to watch it for himself. Nobody else was invited.
Of course.
But I think I'm feeling that like everybody's gonna be watching it. Everybody's gonna be in the same boat. I would imagine the publicists will have a way to watch it, and I'm sure that Sky simulcasts in the UK, and I think you can actually buy day passes for Sky. So I'm either gonna do that or I'm gonna do something a little bit above the law and download a VPN because I've got a service that we use in Canada, but you can't. But it's geo-locked. But you can fool with the geo-locking. I wouldn't torrent it, but I might fool with the geo-locking a bit.
I wonder if you could use HBO Go or HBO Now there.
You can't apparently. Apparently, it's the same thing as with Crave. It's a geo-block as Sky has the rights there. But I was looking at the Sky. You can actually buy day passes for Sky. And I do have a friend who lives in London, so I'll just give them his address.
I feel sorry for you guys in London, man. That sucks.
I'm pretty sure though the hotel, it's like a 5-star hotel. They probably have cable. I mean,
It's a good chance they'll have HBO,
yeah.
but I don't
Oh,
know.
Sky. It's on
UK
Sky.
TV,
It's on
you
Sky.
whatever.
Simulcast on Sky at the same time. So I'm
UK
thinking,
TV kind of sucks though. Sorry, UK guys.
I mean, Canadian TV sucks too, dude.
I
Jeez.
mean, it's bad, like
Yeah.
really bad.
But yeah,
Uh,
streaming though. It's saying everybody uses streaming everywhere.
I mean that's what I use, but I mean, like
I think
people like cable in the US is. I mean, even though like I don't have cable anymore, just because I stream everything, like cable still like offers pretty much everything you could want.
we do have, I have cable here too because I split it with Laura, but because she likes her RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff like that, and which yeah is actually quite a good show. But I like it for certain things, and but
Yeah, I
and we
know
have
why you like it.
yeah, well, we have a deal that like everything is included, right? Like HBO, we don't have HBO in Canada. We have Crave, and Crave is basically HBO stars, Showtime, and movies, and that's like $20 a month. So it's actually a pretty good deal.
Hmm.
So
That's good.
the only fucking problem with Crave though is that they are not used to having that many viewers watching.
Yeah, you were talking about that last week.
If you use the app, it fucking sucks because you get booted off. I was actually okay yesterday though because I also have another way of watching it because I'm actually a subscriber to cable. So I don't have like a satellite or anything, but we've got like IPTV, like internet TV, and it was streaming pretty well last night, so it was fine.
I just use HBO now, which fucking rocks. And as soon as the episode is good, I just fucking hit play and boom,
Yeah, they do the same thing for Crave, but
it rocks.
you get bounced off. It's just not the infrastructure for Crave is just nowhere near as sophisticated as it is
That's
for HBO Go
that's fucking criminal. It's
there's
criminal.
so many fewer subscribers. That's the thing. There's like a fraction of the amount of subscribers. But
Man, I'd lose my mind if that happened.
I was reading actually, it's funny.
I'd go full Daenerys.
I was looking at Twitter and the actress, Kaya Scodelario,
Mm-hmm.
she was caught in Vancouver like a couple weeks ago filming when they had the White Walkers episode, and she was like, "Well, I don't know, understand how to use this. They don't have cable. The hotel doesn't have cable. What am I supposed to do?" And then she was talking about how she subscribed to Crave for one night to get like a month. She watched it and she managed to watch it. And
Well,
she's like, "What's going on with Crave? I don't understand." And it's pretty good. Everybody, man, everybody's stuck. Everybody's in the same boat.
she's like, "Fuck this shit."
People love that show, man. Oh, but anyway, so yeah, so
So,
unpacking Game of Thrones a little bit.
we're gonna go into Game of Thrones after
Yeah,
we're gonna
we gotta
cover
unpack that shit.
cover some bases. We'll save
Yeah.
for a bigger discussion.
So we don't get
the
carried
show.
away for Game of Thrones and talk about it the whole podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Which we probably could, but
Oh my God, easily.
we do gotta cover some bookkeeping news items. So there's a couple new trailers that came out this past week. One of them being the It Chapter 2 trailer, which was pretty much the same thing that they had at CinemaCon,
Yeah.
only just a little bit shorter. For me, of the first It,
Me too.
and I'm just beyond excited for this.
Well, the cast is really good too. Like that's a pretty capable
Yeah.
cast.
Oh yeah, James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain,
Bill Hader.
Hader. I mean, this is.
Do you watch Barry?
No, I haven't watched Barry. I'm. It's something that I'll probably get into
I think
later on.
really like it, and it's weird because it starts off fairly comical in season 1, but now it's in season 2 and it's full on drama now. Like it's not a comedy anymore, and
Really?
he's really good in it. Bill Hader is amazing in it, so he'll be fantastic. I think in It Chapter 2.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man. I'm really pumped for it. And the weird thing is like I'm not a horror guy. Like I don't go see horror movies. They just kind of fuck with my head a little bit, and I don't like that.
You see, for me, I'm totally desensitized to horror movies. They really, I can. It's very rare for me to be scared by anything. I can't.
It's
I
it's
can't
not
remember
even
the
so
last
much
movie.
about fear. It's about it just fucks with my head. It's hard to
Mm.
describe. It just messes with my head.
Trying to think of the last thing that I was kind of
It's just not
disturbed by, and
it's
I
not
and I
good for my brain.
and I think for me, like the only one that recently that kind of messed with me a bit was maybe Hereditary, but it wasn't because I found it scary in a visceral way. Like it was more just like the uncomfortable family dynamic, right? Have you seen Hereditary yet?
No, no.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a
Oh,
scene, I mean, the famous scene that happens fairly early on in the movie. That kind of messed with me just because I was able to put myself in the shoes of the character and just like the horror, the family conflict of it, was kind of the
isn't
thing
it
that
like someone
was
like
up
somebody
to it.
gets their head chopped off or something?
Yeah, but it's just like the denial and then coming home and hearing his mom freak out and react and the guilt, like that was kind of just putting yourself in those shoes. It
Yeah,
wasn't played
yeah.
as horror at all. It was just played as, what a
Well, and
thing.
sometimes that's what horror is,
It is, and that's
it's
scarier than anything you'd ever see in a movie.
absolutely like we call things horrific, a lot of times we kind of toss that word out there, but like horrific isn't like ghosts and goblins and
No,
fucking, scary clowns. It's like terrible fucking things happening that are just
yeah,
straight out of like a horror movie. Like that is horrific.
yeah,
So, yeah, but for
with no
it, I
warning.
find yeah, exactly. For it, I just find I think it's like Stephen King's most accessible work, and I feel like it just hits all those right chords where it can be scary, but at the same time, you have these protagonists that you can really root for and really get into, which you don't typically find in like these, darker horror films like The Conjuring or
Yeah,
Hereditary, or you're not like you're basically waiting to see everybody get their comeuppance. You know what I'm saying? Like the humans, aka the protagonists, they're always like there's always something fucked up with them in a
well,
horror
and,
movie.
and it's being translated very well though too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like the directors really seem to have it pretty
Yeah,
much
Andy
on point.
Machete has really just gotten the pulse of it.
Mhm.
So, anyways, very, very excited for that opening weekend for sure. Fucking opening night, I'll be there, and I'll be
I mean,
taking my
I'm
kid too.
thinking, yeah, I'll probably see it the way I saw it last time. It opens always right before TIFF, but I usually will go to the press screening in Toronto if I'm there yet. I mean, I doubt I'll get a chance to see it beforehand.
Tiff,
Yeah, hopefully that works out again, and I'm pretty excited. It's assuming everything goes well. But
fuck, go to Tiff.
yeah,
Maybe I'll go this year. Who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Um, so another trailer dropped for Watchmen, a longer
Oh,
trailer.
fuck yeah! Now that is a great trailer.
You're completely fucking biased. I don't care what you say about this.
Heavily, heavily, prominently features Don Johnson.
It really does. Like,
Yeah,
he
man, is it
seems
gonna
like
be his show?
it feels that way,
He's
doesn't
the
it? I was
lead.
kind of like,
Yeah, it looks
I
like
was
he's
like,
the
shit.
lead. I love it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Miami Vice.
10 on 10.
What was that other fucking show he did?
Dude,
The
and the cool thing is
cop show,
Nash Bridges. But
Nash
what's
Bridges, and now
what's
fucking Watchmen.
what's cool about it is that the showrunner on Watchmen, Damon Lindelof, started on Nash Bridges, was one of the writers of Nash Bridges.
No shit, that's hilarious.
So he's given his old boss a nice role, it looks like.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it looks. I love the Watchmen comic, which I read, before there was ever a movie. And I love Zack Snyder's movie. I love his adaptation.
Yeah, and
I'm
it
so
doesn't
glad
need to
they're
be.
not trying
Yeah,
to redo that. It would be
yeah,
a
because there's no point because it was a pretty faithful adaptation, except for a couple very small things. It was very.
yeah, yeah. It's an amazing. I think it's an amazing adaptation, and there's just absolutely no feasible reason to readapt it. And this, based on some of the stuff we saw in the trailer, it feels like
A sequel.
that, yeah, it's more a sequel or something that's taking place like maybe 20, 30, even 40 years after the events of Watchmen.
Hmm.
Um, and it looks like, Jeremy Irons' character looks to be, oh fuck, my brain's not working. What's his name?
Yeah, Matthew Good's character.
Yeah. But it seems like that's what we're experiencing. And then you have all these, Rorschach gang that looks to be like some kind of like, almost like a Ku Klux Klan kind of thing with their masks, which are probably or potentially could be just a spin-off group that got a hold of Rorschach's journal, which is probably, widely publicized, by the end of Watchmen, and have, just kind of altered it to fit whatever narrative they're trying to push.
I
So
like that. I like that Don Johnson seems to be playing his character from Golden July, though. Like he's got the cowboy hat and everything, and the shirt. I love
just
it.
like, oh, nothing, just the end of the world. Tick tock, tick tock,
Oh,
tick.
it's great. It's so good, man. And then Regina Hall. It's gonna be a or Regina King. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a good show, man. I think. And
It
Jeremy
looks,
Irons.
and I'm, absolutely be watching it.
I think it'll either be really good or a really big flop. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. Like if it's way too far out there, like
yeah.
if Lindelof is just like, fucking with our minds again, and not so much in a good way, I think people are gonna be like, yeah, nah. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to. And I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure the HBO knows that, but
It'll be like a Westworld, I think. I mean, but maybe
yeah,
not. Maybe it'll be a disaster. Who knows?
fuck, it's so hard to say.
Like a what? It'll either be a one and done or it'll go
I
on for
mean, I
years.
remember when this show called Game of Thrones started on HBO, and people didn't think of that either.
Sure, nobody.
They were like, well, and
I
I
know
remember
Game of
watching it, and I was
Thrones,
like, I like this. This is good.
and
But I
that
didn't.
the pilot was heavily reshot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like they
Yep.
scrapped the original.
Yep. There's a very different. Well, not very, very different, but a lot of different things going on there, and they recast Daenerys to be Amelia Clark.
Who was Daenerys originally?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So anyways, Watchmen and IT trailers, both very good trailers, some good teases for things to come, and two things I'll absolutely be watching. So good stuff. A little bit of casting news that I thought was kind of funny and interesting and weird is Mel Gibson, whom I love, is until he yells at me one day.
Yeah, could happen.
Is going to play Santa Claus in a dark action comedy called Fatman. Uh, which just sounds kind of batshit crazy and a fun thing for Mel to do. So it's basically an unconventional holiday tale of a rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus, which could be a lot of things, who is fighting his business decline. Meanwhile, Billy, a neglected and precocious 12-year-old, hires a hitman to kill Santa after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. So this could be like a really stupid ass movie, but just having Mel Gibson playing, presumably a foul mouthed uh, Santa could be a hell of a lot of fun.
I mean,
So
he's got a bunch of movies though in the pipeline. Like, who knows what'll actually get filmed or not though, because he's at Cannes right now, and they're in. It's like they're selling international rights on a bunch of movies, and he just signed on. Like, I just looked at something this morning. He's signed on to a movie called Rothschild with Shia LaBeouf, and is directed by the guy who did Ollie and Stan, or Stan and Ollie, sorry.
oh
And
yeah,
so
yeah. I
and
saw
that's
that one
going to
this
be
morning.
like a satire, and if they go by the title and they go by the Rothschild family, it'll have Mel Gibson playing a Jewish man, which maybe isn't the best idea, all things considered. But then again, Sheila LaBeouf's in it, so that's pretty interesting. And then he's supposed to do like an action movie for the Polish brothers or something like that with Kate Bosworth, which the Polish brothers directing an action movie seems like a weird thing. Uh, and then he's also got a bunch of other movies in the can already. Like he did Boss Level with Frank Grillo for Joe Conahan, and he also did a movie with Charlie Hunnam. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's got a
he's
bunch of stuff in the pipeline. Plus, he's supposed to do the Wild Bunch remake.
well. I don't know about.
So, well,
Yeah,
he's
I mean, there's
not,
like so
not all of
much.
them. Not all of them are going to happen.
Yeah, no way. One thing I didn't put on the agenda, and which we didn't write about, I need to find out why we didn't write about this, is great news for me, anyways, is that John McTiernan has signed to direct Uma Thurman and Travis Fimmel in a sci-fi flick called Tau Ceti 4,
I haven't even
which
heard of
is
that.
like a war. It's basically takes place on a war-torn fourth planet in the remote Tau Ceti solar system, where three heavily armed strangers show up, size up the various Ogalarks and military thugs who terrorize the place, and set about killing every single one of them. That sounds like a lot of fun to me, and just to have McTiernan back behind the camera makes me very happy, as long as it's not Rollerball.
I mean,
So
we'll see if it happens. Though it's another one. Like a lot of these can titles, that the ones that are going out to buyers, they just don't sound super like they're necessarily going to happen. They announce so many of these movies every year, and I feel like only a fraction of them ever get made because it's all the foreign pre-sales.
yeah,
Like the Santa Claus one sounds like a movie that'll never get made.
maybe I don't know. I hope this one happens. McTiernan has been attached to a ton of fucking projects since his
Mhm.
legal troubles and everything,
Well,
and
and I feel like that's just what this is too, just another case of him being
it
attached.
could be. I mean, there was one he was going to do with Nicolas Cage. There was one he's going to do with fucking John Travolta. There was like all these different projects, but I don't know.
Whatever
This
he
is one.
does, though, it's going to be pretty low rent, though. I don't think he's going to get a pretty big budget. I mean, even Travis Fimmel and Uma Thurman, it's not like a super hot cast anymore. I mean,
Sure, but
say.
you never know. You better quit fucking ruining my John McTiernan dreams, or I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fucking go full Daenerys on you. I'm gonna
I
fucking
mean, he hasn't even his last few movies weren't great, though. I mean,
no. Rollerball was well. I think Thomas Crown Affair is fucking amazing.
oh, so do I, and
Um,
I love 13th Warrior, even though it's
13th Warrior is
this movie.
fucking amazing. Even though I still want to see the John McTiernan cut.
Yeah,
That's the
but
real cut. We should be fighting to release people. Um,
I mean, Basic wasn't very good.
no, Basic was it was a step above Rollerball, which was
Yeah.
just irredeemable. But yeah, still not very good. Like Basic has some of the worst like military gaffies that I just they're laughably bad. Like just down I just it's very tough to watch that and to know that McTiernan directed it and has those kinds of mistakes. It's painful for me. Speaking of painful, a little brief side note here. I rewatched The Predator
Mhm.
Saturday night just to see if I still hated it, and I still do. It's really just bad. It's not good. It's a bad movie, Chris.
Speaking of which, Avatar has been delayed yet again. It's weird to me that Avatar, when the sequel was originally announced for like 2014, we'd already probably have two sequels by now if they'd stuck to the original dates.
Yeah, now that Disney has taken Fox under their wing, they released this massive fucking calendar. I don't know why do they do that though.
It's
I don't
weird
know
because it
why.
feels like they're not going to even really stick to it because there are so many other movies in development.
Oh
Like
my
it's so
God.
far out.
There's so many of these dates that are going to change. But I just don't understand why they put this out. Like, why do they
Well,
put out
it's almost
so
like
much information in a big blast like
because people eat it up though, and it's like a declaration of war, and it's good for the stock. That's the thing because then the stockholders they see like a certain amount of Marvel movies are guaranteed.
I mean, dude,
So
this shit is planned out through 2027.
Mm.
Like, that's fucking crazy. So, a few notables, just kind of going down the line here. So, Ad Astra is finally going to come out. That was actually
Yeah,
supposed to come out like I think this week
yeah.
or last week.
Mhm.
And there was just like no news on that. So Ad Astra is the sci-fi movie with Brad Pitt, and it looks like that's coming out September 20th now. Ford versus Ferrari is sticking with the November 15th. I'm really excited for that after
Yeah.
seeing that trailer.
Sounds like an Oscar
I
movie.
can't wait for everybody to see that trailer because
Yeah, I'm psyched.
it's fucking great. Let's see, Kingsman, which is another kind of holdover Fox movie, although I don't think they're done shooting yet, but that's slotted for the Valentine's Day weekend next year.
Which is when the original Kingsman came out and did quite well. So
Yeah, yeah. And this one is a prequel, so
Mhm.
at least according to all the written shit so far.
Mhm.
Also of note is interesting that Mulan, the live action Mulan, is coming out March 27th. And then they've dated New Mutants, apparently.
Yeah, and it's
So
delayed yet another year. That movie shot like 4 years ago. Didn't we
April
do a
3rd.
set visit for it?
Oh, the set visit has been sitting in the back end for a long time. I
Like
can't
three
wait for it to
years?
go up
Yeah,
because I just want it to go away. I'm so sick of seeing it sitting
I feel
there.
like you're not even gonna be able to use it though because it's not gonna be anything
It's
like
not even for the same movie at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like so weird. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. I'll bet you it's gonna be a wash. I bet you they'll never contact us and be like, hey, you could run your shit. They're gonna be like, no, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, so also of note, May 1st is an untitled Marvel movie. I'm guessing it's gonna be Black Widow,
Yeah, probably.
which will
I mean, it's
be
already shooting, so it makes sense that that
yeah.
would be the first one out.
It should probably be a prequel, obviously, since Black Widow was killed in
I
Endgame
mean, who knows though?
unceremoniously.
Who knows though?
Yeah.
Is she really
It's
dead? I mean,
it's comics, bro. People get so fucking weird about that. They're like, "No, dead is forever. They died." I'm like, there's no way they could come back. You got to explain it all to me." I'm like, "Okay, here's how I
yeah,
explain it. Comic book,
yeah,
fantasy fiction. You can write whatever the fuck you want. You have six stones that can fucking do whatever they want and control the universe, and you're worried about like trying to make sense of time travel and all this other bullshit. It's like, come on, man.
yeah,
Just fucking relax. As long as it's presented in a context in the comic book world where it can make sense, I'm good. Like
yeah.
I've been reading comics for 3 decades, man. Like I get it. Like I understand how this works. But there's so many people that are just like they get so wrapped up in that shit.
I would
Calm the fuck
imagine. I would imagine the second Marvel movie that they've got dated that was probably going to be the Eternals because it seems like that's the closest one to getting underway.
well, the Eternals, yeah, I guess it would be. That
Hmm.
feels like a weird one to kick off, though. Which we may as well mention now, since we're talking the Eternals, is that my man
Hmm.
Richard Madden is being rumored to be cast in the Eternals in presumably a lead role. I'm not sure who he would play.
But
There's been a
Angelina Jolie is going to be in it too.
yep, Angelina Jolie. So it should be interesting. I will say I'm not excited about the director. There's like nothing about them that makes me excited. Fuck, I just forgot. I think it's a female. I can't remember. Not that that matters, but I'm gonna double check here. Yeah,
Isn't it
Chloe
Chloe
Zhao.
Zhao? The Rider was really well received though. I haven't seen it, but it was super well received.
Eh, whatever. I'm just yeah. But it was the same thing with the Russo brothers, you know. So this is, when they were hired to direct Winter Soldier, I was like, what the fuck? You got guys that directed some episodes of of what was it? That show. God damn it.
Arrested Development.
No, not that one. Fuck.
It was Arrested Development.
Well, that was one they did, but the one with Joel McHale,
Community. Community.
Community. I never watched it, so. But I was like, fuck. These are the guys that are gonna direct fucking my story. The Winter Soldier. I fucking love the Winter Soldier, and like these are the guys. And then look at what they became. So who knows? Who knows what could
Mhm.
happen there? But I'm excited for Richard Madden, even though I still think uh, I'd like to see him in a better, more prominent role. And certainly still I'm vying for him to be the next Bond. That's who I want.
We'll see.
And doing the Eternals still gives him plenty of time. They're just now shooting the fucking current Bond. That's a ways out. So
Yeah.
they've got time.
Oh, the next Bond is at least 4 years away, at least.
Yeah. So there's plenty of time for people are like, oh no, if he does Eternals, he can not be Bond. I'm like, no, that's not accurate at
Yeah,
all.
quite a ways off.
So couple interesting other tidbits from this release. They're making a Bob's Burgers movie, which is crazy. One of my friends is a head writer on Bob's Burgers, which is really cool. So I wonder if he's involved. I don't know.
Never watched one episode.
It's really funny. It's a
Yeah.
very, very funny show. Let's see. There's another Disney animation movie slotted for November of next year. I'm not sure what that would be. Um, Another Untitled Marvel in 2021, February 12th. So again, the sweet
I'm
spot
thinking that'll be
February.
Black Panther 2, because that was the date that Black Panther 1 got.
Either Black Panther 2 or Doctor Strange 2 or Shang-Chi. So
Yeah.
that's another one that's coming along. And then it's a lot of sporadic stuff, but other things of note. Another Untitled Marvel for May 7th, so that could be one of the other ones we were talking about. New Pixar, and they have Indiana Jones, the next or last, presumably last Indiana
God,
Jones
how old is he going to be? He's going to be 80.
for 2021, which is like, bro, like how much time do you think? I mean, listen, I don't want to predict Harrison Ford's death
No.
here. I hope he lasts, as long as he can. But
No, but just that he's physically able to do
yeah,
Indiana
the
Jones.
dude he's an old man.
Yeah.
Like, I get it that he's in good shape,
He'll
but
be about 78 when it comes out.
they need to like make like a Harrison Ford Clint Eastwood movie. Just
Yeah.
called Old Fucks.
That's why I'm happy that Deadwood that they got it done when they did, because like I felt the window for Ian McShane was closing too, because he's almost 80, but he looks great still. He looks really good, but it's
That's just
still.
insane that he's that old because he
But he's
doesn't look
not
good.
running around too though, like jumping off of fucking
Yeah,
helicopters and stuff like that, like and throwing his whip around. Like it's different.
right,
So it's
right. So also November 5th, 2021 is another Marvel. So you're looking at 3 Marvel movies per year.
well, not next year.
Not next year. Well, starting in 2021, you've got
Yeah.
3 per year. And then 2022, same deal, 3 of those. And then 2022 is going to kick off the first of 3 new Star Wars movies, whatever they're going to be. There's no distinction in terms of like what they will be. And then again, that continues in 2024 and 2026. So starting in 2022, there will be a new Star Wars movie. So what that says is right there, we have Rise of Skywalker coming out this December. So that's a 3-year wait for
Good.
another Star Wars movie. So in that sense, they really are kind of taking their time and giving it a decent break. I think 3 years is a good break.
Yeah, me too. I think that
You
was the
know,
biggest mistake that they made, was they tried to turn it into Marvel, so you were getting one a
yeah,
year.
yeah, or 2 a
Horrible
year.
mistake.
Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
just it was too much, and I think that
Big
they
mistake.
recognize that. Yeah. I think Solo was, which I still love Solo, but yeah, Solo was the indicator for them. Where it's like, fuck, so they got to slow it down. Um, And then lastly, the Avatar shit. The first Avatar now December of 2021.
Mhm.
Uh, so whatever. Chris is very excited. He loves
I mean, I
Avatar.
didn't even really care about the last one, but I mean, whatever. I'm gonna see it, obviously. But
I'll
you
see
know,
it. I doubt I'll see it more than once. I mean, I saw
I
the
feel
first
like the
one.
moment has passed. But then again, I always thought the first Avatar was gonna be a flop, and it wasn't. So we'll see. Maybe it'll really connect with audiences. I hate to count out, James Cameron, because he has a good track record. I mean,
I feel like it's gonna make money, and I'm sure once we see a trailer, that'll change the narrative on that.
if it flopped though, what would they do with the other 4 movies though?
Fuck. I don't think it'll flop. I will be very, very curious to see if it makes the kind of money that the first Avatar made.
Yeah. But
You
what
know,
would they do with the other ones though? Like I don't.
they'd be like, "All right, we'll pay for one more. You need to wrap it the fuck up."
Yeah, yeah. Disney Plus.
Oh fuck. And I don't like to. I don't want to pick on James Cameron. I think he's a phenomenal filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he did break ground with Avatar. But here's the thing about Jim Cameron in the last few years, and really with all of his movies, is he tends to do some kind of groundbreaking new technology thing.
Yeah.
It's not about the story, because the Avatar story is garbage. Let's just be honest here. It's a ripoff of everything that's come before. It's a real Dances with Wolves, A Man Called Horse, all these other movies that came before. It's nothing original. It's all about the technological stuff. That's what Cameron kind of hinges on. It's the same thing with Titanic. It was a technical marvel. I remember watching it, and I was just like, "Holy shit! Like this is just amazing! Like watching this unfold." Uh, but I wasn't as invested in the story. Now, the girl I was dating at the time was bawling as everything was happening, and I was like watching the ship snap in half, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And she's like
Yeah.
crying. Um, so I think that it still resonates. He still taps into the emotional core for a lot of people, but um, the Avatar films, I feel like it's nobody
Well, the
needs
3D
fluorines.
was like a big part of the appeal though.
Yeah, the 3D was like, oh my god, this is groundbreaking, and I'm sure they're going to say the same thing for Avatar 2. There's going to be some kind of, this
Water
is the
stuff, yeah.
first time we've done this thing that's fucking amazing, and you have to see it or you are a pathetic loser. I'm like, all right,
Just
fine.
fucking die.
If you don't go see my new fucking Avatar movie with all this fucking newfangled technology shit,
Kick your
you're a
fucking ass,
loser.
nerd.
Let me kick celluloid in your face. So anyways, that is your Disney calendar update. Star Wars, Avatar, Marvel, boom. That's your future. But
I see
there
the future
are
chains.
There are, and you're not in it. There are some alternatives that are still being made. One of which
There are
is,
other movies besides Disney movies being made. Wow.
yeah, there's a little
For how long?
franchise called John Wick, which
Yeah,
has.
I'm seeing that tonight, man.
Oh, you're seeing it tonight.
I'm supposed to. Yeah, I'm supposed to go see it
Envious.
tonight. Yeah,
Very envious.
yeah. I have to teach a class, and then I get to go see John Wick when it's over.
What are you doing? Are you doing your dishes?
No, I'm making a pot of coffee because I was getting a little tired, so I'm making some coffee. It'll be good
Oh,
for you, and it'll be good for the podcast.
Chris is gonna fall asleep while I was going over the Disney calendar. You just fuck off.
It'll be good for me, and it'll be good for you, and it'll be good for the podcast.
You're just trying to get juiced up for our Game of Thrones discussion. That's what it is.
Exactly. I need a little
Yeah.
pick up.
I'm gonna go full Daenerys.
Well, I'm just seeing.
So anyway,
I'm sitting in my living room. I'm watching the cat sleep. And he's snoring, and it's just like, fuck.
You're like, that looks really good, dude. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. So
Yeah, I never sleep much either. My girlfriend always gets up much earlier than I do because she has to work earlier, and because my schedule's a little bit all over the place, and like tomorrow I get up really early, but today not so much. And she was, she was always getting ready. You can't help but get up when somebody else is up, in an apartment walking around. You can't really sleep through that. So
no, you can't. So, anyways, John Wick 3 apparently is amazing. Jimmy O gave it a 10 on 10. He said
he gave the first one a 10 on 10 also, though.
Yeah, he did. And I don't know if it's a 10 on 10 for me, but it's pretty close.
I mean, I'm very curious to see it. People seem to love it, and I really, I never thought the first one was a 10 on 10. I liked the first one a lot.
I actually like the second one better. I think
I didn't think either of them were 10 on 10s. I thought they were both really, really good movies, though. But I'm very eager to see the third one, though. And I'm hoping.
I liked 2 better than 1, and from what it sounds like, is that 3 just improves upon all of that. So it's a win-win. I love the series. I love that Keanu Reeves just continues to just wow us, like this is a guy that, a lot of people have given him so much shit throughout the years, like he's a terrible actor and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
yeah, but you know what? Every couple years, or at least once a generation, he comes along with like an iconic defining role, though, eh? And, and even he can do a lot of shit, and he always has done a lot of shit, and he still will do a lot of shit. He just did a crappy movie, and he's got a couple of crappy movies probably in the bank. But, but the thing is, he will come along every now and then just when people count him out and make a great movie, right? Yeah. And when he was doing John Wick, I mean, he was going to go do a TV show with the people who did John Wick, and then that movie was a surprise hit. It was going to go VOD. I remember very clearly. It was going to get a limited release, and then it became a hit,
Yeah. Yeah, because reviews, word of mouth spread like crazy. People are like, oh, this is amazing.
Now it's a franchise, and apparently it's not designed as the last one either. Like, apparently it's left wide open at the end. That's what I've heard in most of the reviews. Yeah. They say that it's not like the end of the series at all. Like, they leave it. Apparently it has a huge cliffhanger at the end.
I could totally see Keanu Reeves is continuing these films.
Of course. So why would they end the series? Like, I don't get it. He's still relatively young, and he can play John Wick. John Wick doesn't have to be 20, I mean, he's supposed to be a middle-aged man, so it kind of works. He looks like he's in good shape still, Keanu Reeves. He looks in great shape. Wick. When you see him being interviewed, he looks like that's how he keeps himself, And,
well, I mean, Keanu Reeves is like 50, 51, something like that.
Yeah, but he's but he just every once in a while he'll come along with, and it's always when you count him out. I mean, I remember The Matrix. He was coming off a bunch of really big flop movies, and everybody was like, "Oh, this movie's gonna suck. It's gonna be Johnny Mnemonic 2." Then it's The Matrix, and it's the same thing with
Well, he had
Speed. Speed.
Yeah, I was gonna say Speed. He had like, Speed. He had Point Break was a hit. Bill and Ted. I mean, there's plenty of good movies that Keanu Reeves has done, and I don't think Keanu Reeves is a great actor. I think that he's a great performer. There's a big difference there,
and he's got like a real presence. Like, there's only one Keanu Reeves. I mean, he's a throwback to an older type of movie star, right? Like the types of movie stars that we used to get in kind of like the golden age, where you could have somebody do a Keanu Reeves impression and you would get who it is. Could you have somebody do like a Chris Pine impression, or a Chris Evans impression? Like, could you really do that? Like, not really, because they're not movie stars in that mold. They're more like everyman kind of
Yeah,
types.
that's
But
true.
but back in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, you could I could do a James Cagney, I could do a Clint Eastwood, I could do a Stallone, I could do a Schwarzenegger, because they were these kind of like these iconic people that had these strange presences. It was just different. And Keanu Reeves is like that. He is the same
Yeah.
thing with Nicolas Cage. A Nicolas Cage impression. You could do a Nicolas Cage impression. But you can't necessarily do that for other actors.
Rip a shirt.
Yeah, it's just that's how it goes. You know.
Fucking love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Fucking love Mandy. Speaking of Keanu Reeves, I watched a very strange but cool,
The Bad
weird, crazy movie called The Bad Batch yesterday.
Mhm.
I really liked it. It was it's fucked up, it's weird,
I like
it's
some of it.
beautifully shot.
I found it occasionally tedious when I saw it at TIFF,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
I
It's
like the style of it.
yeah, the style is great and it's absolutely, rude. It's got some serious pretentious
Oh,
undertones going on that are kind of annoying,
You know
but
that director though, Anna Lily Amakor is doing a remake of Cliffhanger.
yeah, supposedly a female-led version. And I'll say, and actually that was what made me think, well, maybe let me check out Bad Batch and see what she's got to offer. And after watching it, I was like, okay, let's
I mean,
see what she can do.
it's not gonna be anything like the original. I mean, that's the kind of
Oh
reboot that
no, I mean, come on,
I don't
that's
really have a problem with it, because it's not like it's gonna be the first movie. She's not gonna be playing Gabe Walker. Like, it's gonna be a different character, and it's the only thing that's gonna have in common with it is gonna be people hanging off cliffs. I mean,
yeah. Well, and that could be like pretty stupid too. It could be pointless. I did actually just watch Cliffhanger recently, like within the last week, and I love it. And it's one of Rennie Harlan's like better fun action movies from his repertoire. And
I saw a really bad female reboot the other day though. I went to see The Hustle, which is basically a scene
oh
for scene
yeah,
remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and fuck man, that is a bad movie. And that's a cynically made one too, because there's no reason to remake it, because they didn't do anything interesting with it. They could have done something interesting with it by having a female perspective, but they did nothing. They just kind of recreated the first movie, and it was a male director, and a male writers, and I don't think they had a good take on what they were doing. And Anne Hathaway, as much as I love her, fatally miscast doing like a British accent, the Michael Caine character.
mm,
She really does not have a knack for comedy at all. Like Rebel Wilson wipes the floor with her in the movie. And even Rebel
yeah.
Wilson, it's not a great role for Rebel Wilson either. Isn't It Romantic was a much better role, but she and very mean spirited about her weight in the movie too, like always poking fun, like, which I thought was kind of shitty, and it was it was a little, and but it was a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. And they tried to be PC too, because you've seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you remember Ruprecht?
Yeah.
They don't have that in this. Instead, she's like a fantasy nerd kind of thing, and it just isn't really funny at all. Like, it just sucks.
It's got to be hard to make a comedy this day and age with everybody so like, triggered and
Well, they tried
fucking
to make it really PC too, and
yeah. But how do you make
not.
comedy? Comedy by its nature is not PC. Like that's something that Hollywood is just gonna have to fucking reconcile with itself. That comedy is supposed to not be PC. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and it's supposed to make you laugh at the things that are supposedly offensive and all this other things. That is what the point of comedy.
I was just
And
watching a documentary on Mel Brooks. Really, as we started this, I had it on in the background, the American Masters episode on Mel Brooks, and it's like, fuck, man, none of his movies would get made now. Definitely not Blazing Saddles, but not even like the producers would be able to get made now, because somebody would be offended. Hell, even
yeah,
Robin Hood Men in Tights couldn't be remade now, because people would get upset.
I just don't understand why we're catering to that. I
Yeah.
think that's the problem because the truth is most people, the majority of people, this credence to the loud minority that is offended and finds
It's
all this stuff, and we just give too much credit to that. We shouldn't.
That's a good segue though into Game of Thrones though, because it's the same thing. Like, I was really frustrated with the reaction to Game of Thrones this week. It's funny because my girlfriend's been texting me all morning about it. She's pissed off because she's reading all the think pieces, and she's gone down the hole, at work with this. And it's just, people are so whiny. you know, they're so whiny because everybody's got their own idea of how it should go. But then if it doesn't go exactly how they want it to go, they're upset. But then if you do something that they call fan service, then they're upset too. I mean,
Yeah, you can't listen. And I talked
you
about this last
cannot win.
night. I
You
talked
can't
about this in the
win.
review. There's really no way that this series could end and please everyone. And
Not
it
a
was
chance.
never going to be that way.
Yeah.
I think everybody hopes, that things will go a certain way at the end of a show, but it's the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the very end, and if you think about it, even in our own lives, when you get to the very end of your life, you know, are you going to have accomplished everything that you wanted to accomplish? Is it going to be the happy ending, the perfect, where everything just like aligned with the stars and it all went well and it was a perfect finale? No, you're probably gonna be like, fuck, I wish I wouldn't have done this, and that was fucked up, and oh shit, that sucked, and well, that was cool. It's like it's always gonna be a mixed bag. The ending is always going to be a mixed bag, and you can still be satisfied with that, but you can't get everything you want, and you can't please everybody all the time. But
I really you know, it's funny, I'm reading Travis's post about it right now, and he said he really liked it. He said the only problem for him was that he found that the season was too short, that it shouldn't have been the 6 episodes. They should have done a full season, which I really do agree with. I think they could have stretched things out a little bit more, maybe taken a little bit more time. But overall, I mean, I've
yeah,
really liked this season. I've had a good time watching it. I thought last night's episode was one of the best episodes ever. I thought it was really good.
yeah. I mean, last night's episode is. I mean, this is a key. I mean, obviously, it's the penultimate episode. It's you're at the end, but this is the episode where it's past the point of no return for certain characters, specifically Daenerys. Uh, this is it. It's the culmination of her journey to this point. Like this is everything. This is the big thing. But what's irked me about people, and I've got people on my timeline blowing me up about it now, is that there's so many people that like feel like, oh, they've just flushed, all these years of story down the drain, and like they've somehow done a disservice to Daenerys. But no, they haven't. I mean, if you think that Dany was ever going to be like this great, perfect, wonderful leader, you weren't paying attention to the story
Everybody's
because
pissed off because they named their children Daenerys. I
they're
love that.
like, God damn it. uh, that's
It's
funny. Like
yeah, they've
Elizabeth
been
Warren is gonna have to
teasing it up.
change her whole presidential campaign because she was like, my hero is Daenerys
Uh,
Stormborn.
they've
Like
been
you
they've
might
been
want to
teasing it
change
up
that.
so long though that this was gonna happen though. I mean, it's you
From
know
the get-go.
she
First,
was
she's a
never gonna be.
Targaryen.
Yeah, she was. Everybody just I think people wanted her and Jon Snow to live happily ever after. Like fuck, man, that was never gonna happen.
Dude,
And
that would have been a shitty ending, to
and
be
it's
honest.
funny, Laura's texting me right now, and she's saying that people are complaining about Jamie's redemption arc uh,
What
as well.
redemption?
And she goes, but then who is he? He's the man who's in love with his sister, and when it comes down to it, that's who he really cares about. So why
There's
have
no,
a die
it's
hero? And there
not
is have a die.
redemption though. It's
No,
there's
there
no
is.
redemption for Jamie. Jamie is in love with his twin sister who they had children with, and doesn't matter how much strain she gets from Brienne or anybody else. The bottom line is he and Cersei are inextricably linked forever. And it's always
Yeah.
been that way. And his last lines to her, supposedly their last lines, I'm assuming they're both dead, but at the same time, I think there's some I need to see bodies. Uh
And you
but
know,
he says,
Daenerys.
and he's like, it's just us. It's always us. And
Mhm.
that's how it's always been between the two. Even down to the point where they were fucking in that tower in Winterfell and Jamie pushed Bran out of that tower. It was like, he's like, the things you do for love. Everything that they've done has been in service to each other.
I
And
really
it's
liked their ending. I thought it was great. I liked how that ended too. I thought that was perfect.
well, and Jamie was when he was training with Braun a couple seasons ago.
Mhm.
They're like, "How do you want to die?" And Jamie's like, "In the arms of the woman I love,"
And
and
when she
that's
did,
and that's how he died.
I'm going back to the Daenerys thing though. I mean, what's really important though is that she's lost all of the characters that were kind of her conscience though. Like
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like there was
she's lost
Jorah.
her complete support
There was
system.
what was his name? Michael Huisman's character, the guy that everybody liked, the
Which
swordsman guy.
Barristan Selmy.
Yeah, she lost him. She lost Jorah. She lost Missandei, and she lost now Varys. You know, and these were and Tyrion.
Well,
The thing is, he cares about his family. His family is always first, right? Like regardless, Jamie is always first, comes before everything.
and that's a point that I made in my review too, is that, in the end, Tyrion showed that he is still a Lannister and he
Yeah,
cares about his family, but he also cares about the people.
yeah.
So and that's something more that he has that Jamie and Daenerys don't, or I'm sorry, Jamie and Cersei don't, is that he cares about the people. He wants to save the people, and he really does want to see somebody rule that isn't going to be basically what Daenerys or Cersei is. But he wants his brother and his sister to have a happy ending,
Well, she
and
thinks of
he tries
herself.
to set it up.
She thinks of herself like a god, though, and that's the thing. And she considers the people. She considers what she did justified. She thinks they're like insects almost, and disloyal people. So she doesn't, losing any sleep over it necessarily. She wants to rule, and it's almost like a metaphor for, religion, right? I mean, look at Noah's Ark. I mean, that kind of story almost. And she views herself as a god,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
and
mean, and she's repeated her little mantra. She even repeated it last night. I, Daenerys Stormborn, breaker of chains. But like she's been this arrogant kind of. She's been an arrogant tyrant and an evil one.
Mhm,
But the brilliance of the show, and even down to George R. R. Martin's writing, and
mhm.
we don't know what his end game exactly is. I'm sure it's somewhere in the ballpark
You
here.
still sympathize with her. That's the thing, to a
Her
degree.
charisma, her
Mhm,
her persona, her presence, people loved her. I love Daenerys. You know what I'm saying? But let's think about that for a second. Like,
mhm.
you love her in because of the things that she does, but the things that she does,
Not
they've
good.
tricked us into thinking that what she's doing is justice when it's really murder. Like when she kills the dude uh, uh that she gets the Unsullied from, she's like Dracarys. That was a great episode. Everybody's like, holy fuck, she's a badass, man. Look at this, she's burning everybody
But
and
then
killing them.
even at the end though of last week's episode, like Missandei, who's the person that she loves the most now, her
Well,
last
Jon
words.
Snow is the one she loves
Yeah,
the
but
most.
well, he betrayed her though, and now she's like, "Fuck you."
Well,
The
but
thing
see,
is,
that is the turning
yeah,
point, is when John comes to her and says, "Yeah, I don't want it. I love you. And you'll always be my queen." And she's like, "Am I just your queen?" And as soon as he couldn't return that affection,
mhm.
that was it for her. That was the last straw. That was
Because
the last loss that she could take, was this person that she just wanted to love and to rule with,
mhm.
and she couldn't have it.
And
And
what
he
was the
couldn't
last
do it.
thing that Missandei told her too, though? That was the other
It was
person.
Dracarys, yeah.
Yeah, burn them all fucking down. And the thing is, the only person that she's got left that's super loyal to her is Grey Worm, and Grey Worm is like totally into this, like
And
totally gung ho,
Well,
like
and
let's
Grey
fucking
Worm at
kill them
this
all.
point is, yeah, and this
Yeah,
is the first time Grey Worm has shown any kind of, I
yeah.
guess, non-military bearing, in a sense that he's just like gone cold, ruthless, just fucking kill them all.
Hmm.
Like he's just fuck, and you and I think I said this in my review too. I was like, every person that he's killing is basically, he's doing it from a Sunday. Like
Hmm.
every stab,
Well,
every
when he
fucking.
burns her collar, like he's done, like he's just gonna fucking kill everyone, and he's loyal to her to the end, right? Like he's the last one, but he's not her conscience. He's not gonna tell her not to do anything because he trusts her, and he will follow her blindly. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're kind of gearing up a fight between him and Jon Snow maybe at the end, which would be kind of
Yeah, there was a lot of like looks between the two where John's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You
yeah.
know? Um,
I
and
love the yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
and well, and Jon Snow,
Look
a
at
lot of
Jon though.
people
Like, oh shit.
a lot of people are complaining too, like, oh, Jon Snow's like a big idiot. And I'm like,
He's
well,
always been a little
yeah,
bit like that. He's thick, he's
John
grown.
is John is he may be part Targaryen, but he's also part Stark, and I think he's more Stark than Targaryen.
Yeah,
And he is the spitting image of Ned Stark.
he's
He
very
is
upstanding and
he is
moral,
a
but in that
soldier.
world he can't be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is morally unflinching. He is Ned Stark, and he's seeing now that, finally, and really the truth is John hasn't known Daenerys long enough to foresee what she did. So people are like, why wouldn't John have stopped her? Why? But John doesn't know her, and plus, he was he's having sex with this woman. Like she's, it's a totally different thing for him. He hasn't witnessed all the things she did in Marine and everywhere else. Like he doesn't know that, you know?
And
And
he's
so,
also only ever been with one woman too. I mean, that's a
yeah,
powerful thing too when you're in love
yeah,
with somebody.
yeah.
Um,
And this is like a brand new, like, holy shit, like, wow. And then like you get this fucking smack upside the head, like, hey, bro, that's your aunt, and you're actually a Targaryen, and all this. And it's like, fuck. So people are like, oh my God, John's an idiot. And it's like, dude, John
he's very confused.
is in a
He's very
situation
confused.
where fuck, what would anybody do? He's trying to make the best decision that he can. He's trying to do the morally right thing by
He
not
shouldn't
killing
have
his
said
aunt.
anything to his sisters, though. Clearly,
Yeah, but again,
I
this
love,
is
I love,
John.
I love that
Said,
those Santa's like, yeah, I won't tell anyone. Sure.
well, and it's that there's that key scene early on when Tyrion goes and we haven't talked about Varys yet, but Tyrion basically goes and drops the dime on Varys and says, "Hey, Varys is he's
Yeah,
trying
and
to."
everything Varys told him was going to happen happened.
Yeah, I mean, Varys has always been the smartest one, and anyways, he tells her, hey, it's it's somebody has betrayed you. That was her saying, and then she says, he says, yeah, somebody has betrayed you. And she says, who was it? Jon Snow. That was the first word out of her mouth was Jon Snow, and he was like, no, Varys.
Well, he did betray her. They all kind of betrayed her. That's the way
Well,
she sees it.
and that's the thing is that she saw what happened, and she was right. And the truth is, she's right because Sansa played that. I think Sansa knew exactly what she was doing by telling Tyrion. I don't think she was appealing so much to Tyrion in the last episode. She's like, what if there's somebody else? I don't think that was so much an appeal to him. I think that was I want Daenerys to know that I know.
Mhm.
And by spreading that around, that just creates this strife. And it ultimately disrupts and fucks Daenerys up, which it did. And that's when Daenerys is like, you played right into what she wanted, and you did not disappoint.
I really
And
loved, though, getting to something completely different, though. I loved the culmination of the Hound and his brother. I mean, I thought that was insane. I love that fight, and I loved his last words with Arya, where he's like, "Just get out of here," you know.
yeah,
You're doing the wrong thing. This is not. I'm gonna fucking die.
yeah. And
And
he said, like, if you come with me, you're gonna die here.
yeah, and
It was
his
great.
thing.
Yeah, it was a great
I
moment between
love that.
Arya and
I
the
love that.
Hound.
I love that fight, though. I thought that was great. It was well done.
So it's like the exact epic battle that the Clegane Bowl, as they've been predicting, needed to be. You
Yeah,
know, uh, uh, Sandor and Clegane
mhm.
battling it out on the steps of the castle as it's
As it's
crumbling
yeah,
around them with
around
fire
them.
and a dragon flying around was like
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
you don't get much more epic than that, and I don't think you could have given them a better stage.
Oh,
I will say I'm actually kind of sad that the Hound didn't live. I kind of
oh,
thought
me too.
maybe,
I know, just because I love him so much. But there's only one episode left, so he made
yeah,
it
but
pretty much
I
to
feel
the end.
like he could have like.
Had a scene.
I honestly thought he would become like a new like Lord of Light, like Beric Dondarrion or something,
Yeah,
but I guess that was too much to hope for. But again, hey, this is where it comes down to. Listen, that may have been what I wanted to happen,
yeah.
but I'm not. I don't write this show. I don't. We don't get like. There's no like a little button that I get to push while I'm watching the show to vote for what I want to
He
happen.
kind
It's,
of
it's
made
not a
his
democracy.
choice.
This is
He kind of made his choice in the end, though. He could have gone another way, but he wanted to get revenge. And it was all he ever wanted, and it was very much in keeping with his character. I mean,
yeah,
he totally did get quite a bit of redemption as the show went on, but
absolutely.
in the end, though, like that was what he wanted to do, and he basically said to Arya in a way, like, "Do you want to be me or do you want to be you?" And she was like,
Ultimately,
"Okay,
do you want to live?
yeah."
It
But
was
in a
nice.
way, though, he's saying, "Do you want to be me or what's more important to you, living or revenge?" Because she's gonna fucking die anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, look, he's like, Cersei's gonna fucking die. Like, you got to be the one that
Uh,
slashes her throat. She's gonna die. He's like,
Yeah,
why do you have to die too? And it was nice too because like that whole moment, like they spent a long time on the King's Road together. They have all these experiences together, and it was always kind of like a this standoffish relationship between the two. And it was nice for them to kind of to recognize between the two of them that hey, actually, I care for you. You care for me. They're not going to be like, I love you. You're like my father. But that was never going to happen. But her just saying thank you to him was that was a big enough moment, because she meant it. It was genuine, you know, and that was a really nice finale to their journey together.
Hmm.
Um, and then obviously that fucking battle between the Hound and his brother was fucking amazing, and it had like
I thought
shades
it
of
was a great episode. I really I was getting chills during the fight, especially when they do like the break kind of, and it just ends with them clashing the swords, and it's like ah, and then they do like I thought that was amazing.
yeah. It was a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
battle.
yeah.
And then then we watch Arya running through the streets, and they really focused and they really wanted us to see what Arya is seeing, which is I gotta say it sounds weird, and I really didn't want to mention it, but I got like hints of 9/11 out of this. Like if you've seen any of the footage after 9/11, right after the planes hit and like the streets are covered in ash and fire, and there's like people's bodies burning and all this stuff like laying around it. It's horrific. It's frightening. It's terrible, and it's terrifying. And Arya is running through and she's experiencing this. She's seeing all of this like firsthand, and she's watching as Daenerys just goes from fucking street to street, just burning everybody. And you're seeing like these bodies just mangled, heads smashed. Like it's ugly. It's very, very, very ugly. And I think that they really wanted Arya not only to be that person, because you care about Arya, but also because, she is really going to see the damage that Daenerys has done. And that information is going to go back to Sansa, and it's going to go to Jon, which Jon is seeing it himself too. But I feel like that whole point of Arya experiencing that and being there was not only to be a guide for us, but also to show that she has the full knowledge of what Daenerys's actions really cause.
Hmm.
So there's no debate. There's no like Daenerys pleading her case like I had to do this. It's like, do you see what you did? Like there's, it looks like a nuclear fucking bomb went off in this city, and you have like, it looks like Terminator 2, like where the people are like holding their children, and they're nothing but ash,
Hmm.
you know. And it's a frightening visage. And then at the end, there's that shot. I think it's just fucking beautiful the way they filmed it, where Arya is like coming to, and she finds that horse, which I think is the Gold Company main dude's horse. I don't know. I could
Oh
be,
yeah.
but I think it was that horse. But anyways, it's standing there, and the horse is injured, but she walks up and grabs the horse and rides off on it, and that whole sequence is just shot beautifully. And it's the last scene of the show, and she just rides off, and it's just so beautifully shot. It's like the sun is coming in, and I can't tell if it's snow or ash or both that's falling. But it's beautifully filmed. It's great. And one other thing to mention is you remember the episode where I think it was episode 2 where Daenerys saw her future,
Hmm.
and you see the Iron Throne, and you see like snow falling on it, and you see like the roof collapsed and bashed open.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna see next episode, because you see they showed that little teaser, and it showed it was very blue tinted and kind of dark, and you see like the snow falling and stuff. I feel like we're gonna see that exact moment. It's like it's coming to fruition. And you also saw in one of Brand's early visions, you saw the shadow of the dragon flying over King's Landing, and we saw that exact shot in last night's episode. So all the things are coming home to
I'm
roost.
pretty excited for next week's episode. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I think the biggest thing that people are like upset about is really just Daenerys going evil.
Hmm.
But the writing was always on the wall. Daenerys was always going to go this route. And honestly, if she didn't, I almost feel like we'd be really letting her off the hook for the things that she's done, or we've just justified it and said, hey, whatever, she had to kill some people, so be it. But Daenerys has always been that person. She's been built as this woman that, pretends that she's or thinks in some way that she is not a tyrant, and that she is the one that's bringing all this greatness, but she's not. She never has been. She's actually forged the same kind of path that every other person that wanted to take over the Iron Throne has done. And I think that's kind of the point. Like, all these people fighting for the throne, none of them deserve it. They're all just fighting for it. They're killing each other for it. And that's what she's doing. So the only person that doesn't want it is Jon. And he's probably the one that would absolutely probably be the best suited there. He needs some help, though.
Oh
He
God,
needs
yeah.
he needs Tyrion. He needs Tyrion or somebody to kind of advise him, because
Yeah.
Jon's got that. He's got a straight moral compass, but he needs somebody
Sansa. Sansa would be good.
Yeah, Sansa would be good too. I think Sansa would be, and who knows? Sansa could be the one that rules in some way, shape, or form. I would be fine with that. I'd be fine with her. I'd be fine with Jon. I'd be fine with Tyrion. So next week, however it shakes out, I'm sure there's going to be some disappointment for a lot of people. We're going to lose, favorite characters. It's going to happen. You should be prepared.
Give me 1,000 think pieces, I'm sure.
Be prepared, everybody, next week for your heart to be broken, because there's a good chance that whatever character you love is going to die.
I mean, most of my favorite characters are already dead.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, the Hound is dead. I really love the Hound. Mm-hmm. But, he had a hell of a journey, and it is what it is. Nobody lives forever anyways. I mean, Jesus.
Except if you're a Highlander.
That's true. Well, unless you get your head chopped off, then there can be only one. So that's that. So Game of Thrones, 1 episode to go. Who the fuck knows how it's going to end? I'm not even going to sit here and try and predict or write a fan theory. I'm along for the ride, Like,
as we're talking about this, I just got my my invite to Godzilla King of the Monsters, and you get to say if you liked it or not, right?
Yeah, I gave my my couple tweets. They wanted us to limit it to 2, but I had nothing but good things to say, so I'm sure they don't really care. But so for me, I could say now, I absolutely loved Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think it is the best modern day kaiju movie.
But you hated the last Godzilla.
Hate's a strong word. It's just that it was like boring.
Yeah,
there was like 11 minutes of Godzilla action, and like they kept like playing it so that you're just getting a peek at him, and I was just like, I was so annoyed by that. And the human characters were just boring, and they killed off the best human character like within the first 20 minutes. So that was a problem. What Godzilla King of the Monsters does is it flips that whole script. So you have way more monsters, and there's not just Godzilla. There's Godzilla, there's King Ghidorah, there's Rodan, and then there's Mothra, and then there's actually more monsters that show up too. And there's tons of fucking monster action. It's exactly what you want to see. If you're going to see a monster movie, I want to see monster fucking action, and Godzilla King of the Monsters delivers on that. The human characters are good. What I like is that they don't give them so much screen time that it feels like the movie is about them.
Yeah.
Because the movie is about the monsters. It's about Godzilla. It's about these creatures. And that's what I loved. You know what I'm saying? And there's some shocking moments in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like, not all the humans make it out alive. And, everybody plays their part well. Like, everybody's good. Vera Farmiga is good. Millie Bobby Brown is good. Everybody's good. They're good. But I never felt like, oh Christ, is this a movie just about this person? Like, I think one of my fears going into Godzilla King of the Monsters is like, is this like just a Millie Bobby Brown vehicle?
No,
but it's not. And she doesn't even play as prominent a role as you may think, which is honestly, it's great because like I want to see Godzilla.
Yeah.
And it really, really dives into the mythology of these creatures. And the other thing that I really loved was that Michael Dougherty, who also did Trick or Treat and Krampus, he loves these creatures. He loves these characters, the monsters he loves. You know what I'm saying? Like, the human characters are fine. He gives them plenty of attention, but he lets like so many shots just linger, which I just loved. Like there's so many times, like in 2014 Godzilla, like they couldn't cut away fast enough from the monsters, because we don't want to see them for too long. Not the case with this. Like he lets shots just linger of the monsters, like just kind of standing there, and you're almost like, it's almost uncomfortable for a minute. Like you're like, are they gonna go to another shot, or I just get to sit here and enjoy this awesomeness? No fucking way. And it's great, and it's just like so many beautifully framed shots, and just awe and spectacle and carnage. I absolutely loved it. It is my favorite kaiju movie to date, and I really love the first Pacific Rim, but that movie, the problems that movie has is that it's so fucking dark, and that so much of the action is obscured by that. But that's another thing that this movie fixes is, most of the battles take place in well lit kind of arenas, so you're not like, what's happening? I can't really tell. That's not the case.
Well, that's a nice little early preview. I don't think you're allowed saying much more, though, Paul.
No, I can't really go into too much detail.
Next week, hopefully, I'll be able to talk about X-Men Dark Phoenix. Maybe. I doubt it, though.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It comes out pretty soon, though.
Early June, I guess.
I guess about a month.
I wonder what's going on with Brightburn, though. It doesn't seem like they're doing any press screenings of that. I mean, there is a junket, but I don't think
we're doing the junket. We're doing the junket.
Seems like there's no press screenings. There's none in Montreal. It's weird.
I don't know.
Usually we have them all the time in Montreal. We have pretty much everything.
I'm not going to say I'm excited for Brightburn, but I'm very, very curious because
I'm thinking it's not good though if they're not having press screenings for it.
Maybe it's not, but it looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But anyway, yeah, Godzilla Godzilla King of the Monsters is really great.
It is good.
I'm absolutely going to see it again. Warner Brothers did not pay me to say any of this, so this is my genuine reaction.
I mean, we ran a Detective Pikachu review that wasn't very positive for me, so.
Yeah, well, you hate fun, so.
I do hate.
Tell you. You're like more concerned about the Pokemon being slaves.
I just understand.
I think you're too wrapped up in that.
I don't care if there's. I really don't care if it's just. I just don't get the universe. I don't. My girlfriend really liked it, and she's a Pokemon fan. And I wrote that in my review. But it's like, I don't know. I didn't really. Whatever. I don't really care.
It's not. You know what? That's fine. You gave your genuine opinion. Hey,
I was expecting to pulled into it and to invest in it a bit, and I just didn't care. I couldn't care less about what was going on, and I felt like I predicted immediately what Detective Pikachu, what he really was, and I wasn't surprised by anything. And
that's a pretty big prediction.
I mean, it was pretty obvious. I thought.
Maybe a broad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I like Detective Pikachu. I thought it was a really, really fun, cute. I think Ryan Reynolds really helped elevate that one just by his voice being Pikachu's.
Basically PG Deadpool. I thought I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah.
They actually had Ryan doing this little press bit I saw on Instagram where it was almost like he was appealing to parents that were on the fence about going to see it, thinking that, well, this is Deadpool that's doing the voice, so it's probably going to be like hardcore language and like not for my kid. And so he does this whole almost like a PSA commercial, like, I promise you, I do not swear like Deadpool in this. It's very safe to take your kids. I thought that was pretty funny to think that Pokemon would be like foul-mouthed Deadpool language. But I guess, there's a lot of people that just don't understand or really give a shit about movies like we do, which is cool. So that, they would think that could be a potential issue. But it's not. It's fine. Anyways, I'm probably still going to take my kid to see it. I think he wants to, so. Anyways, I think that's about it for us.
Oh, don't we have any listener questions?
Look, that's what I'm getting to, Chris.
Yeah.
Damn it. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Pissed off about Game of Thrones. Yeah. Pat Torf wants to know can Superman outrun the Flash? Pat.
I don't care.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Like, nobody could solve, not even the comics could solve that, because all it would take is a comic book writer that decides, I'm going to have Superman beat the Flash. And then, a couple months or years later, you have another writer take on the story and the Flash wins. It's just a kind of an arbitrary argument. Maybe you're just fucking with us, Pat. I don't know. From Adam, do you think DC movies will fall out of favor with moviegoers because the MCU is so dominant? No, I don't.
There's room for more than one franchise, and eventually people will get a little bit burnt out on the MCU. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Well, I think the MCU, they just finished on this massive high with
Yeah, they'll
Endgame.
have it. They have to come down at some point. There'll be a lean period, but then
Well,
they'll
I
go
mean,
back.
you
You know,
just lost
those.
two of your key players and key franchise players with uh Captain America and Iron Man. And you're hanging a lot on, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, who both made a lot of money for sure. There's no denying that, but is that going to be enough to carry it forward? I don't know. We'll see. But like for me, like I fucking loved Aquaman. I can't wait to see
Oh,
Aquaman
me
2.
too. I'm
I
very excited
love
to
it.
see Aquaman too. I'm this one I'm really excited for is Joker.
Yeah, Joker looks really great. I'm
Wonder
excited
Woman
to see what
1984.
happens. Oh yeah, Wonder Woman 84. Trust me, everybody, trust me. There's shit in Wonder Woman 84 that you don't know what's coming unless somebody leaked it. I
I'm
didn't
very
leak.
excited.
Uh, but yeah, I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for everything. It's the Batman. I'm really excited for what Matt Reeves does with the Batman. I'm excited about his involvement. So yeah, I mean, there's like so much to look forward to, and I got to be honest. I think I'm actually more excited for what DC slate
Yeah, because it's more of a
than I am
question.
with MCU
It's
because
more of a question mark. It could go anywhere. That's the
yeah,
thing.
like MCU, like Shang-Chi, that's kind of it could be who
It
knows what
seems like
that's gonna be.
DC's on a bit of a roll now too. So
Yeah, they've got they're doing their thing. Plus, I mean, you got the Suicide Squad as well. That's going to be exciting with James Gunn.
Shazam did really well. I mean,
Yeah, come on, everybody, calm down. This
yeah, there's
DC versus Marvel shit. Armando, Mel, and Shia making a movie together. Will they be drinking beer or at each other's throats? That's a good question. Those are two very extreme
both.
personalities.
Both alternately one or the other.
That is an interesting. It's kind of like because Shia's just fucking crazy and Mel's fucking crazy. Like those guys are gonna get in so much fucking trouble together. It's
And
probably gonna be
she
brilliant.
is she is Jewish as well. I'm sure that he's not a super fan of Mel Gibson's, but maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, he did
Interesting.
sign on to do a movie with him.
Yeah, well, you know,
Oh
who
my god,
knows?
Mel like made like one Jewish comment. Everybody's like, he hates Jews. I'm like, where's all this evidence?
I do feel like he is probably anti-Semitic. I mean, his
Oh,
father sure is, but who knows?
oh,
Whatever. Mel Gibson though, he's crazy, but he's Mel Gibson.
fucking love Mel Gibson.
I'm sure he'll be good in it. I mean, he's always good. I'm sure it'll be a good movie if he's involved. He doesn't usually do bad movies, maybe except Daddy's Home too, but otherwise his movies are pretty solid. I actually am curious to see him and Shia LaBeouf together though, because I could see them having interesting chemistry, even if they fucking hate each other. The chemistry between the two of them would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
And I think that LaBeouf would be the kind of actor that would challenge Gibson too. And I think
Maybe.
that could go either really well or really yeah. I feel like they'd probably get along though. I mean, I don't know. Gibson gets along really well with people that you wouldn't think he'd necessarily get along with, so who knows?
Well, they'll find out soon enough once they
Yeah.
get on set together.
Yeah, I'm sure that
Uh,
they'll.
Ulysses wants to know what we think about John Wick 3. We kind of already talked about that. He wants to know our favorite moments from John Wick 1 and 2. I like the part where John Wick shoots that guy in the head.
Mhm. I like the hand to hand stuff. I like the guy that he fought in John Wick 2. Is the guy that he fought in John Wick 2 is the same guy that Barry fought last week in that crazy episode of Barry that Bill Hader did.
Common?
Daniel Bernhardt. He was like kind of this B-list Jean-Claude Van Damme wannabe in the 90s, and he did like a bunch of movies like Bloodsport 2 and but he's became like afterwards like a stuntman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's turning up. He's often the guy, like one of the anonymous guys that the hero fights, right? Like the henchman that's a little bit tougher than the others. And he had a good fight with Statham and Parker, which was the only good part of that movie. And he had some cool fights with Keanu Reeves in John Wick 2 as well. And then he had a great fight with Bill Hader last week in Barry. That went
Interesting.
on like the whole episode. It was good.
Really? So is
Yeah.
Barry like Gross Point Blank?
Well, he's more like evil than Martin. Like
Oh,
he's not evil, but he's like it's just they have an episode though. It's pretty much like just like a fight. The whole episode's like this insane fight.
huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's it for questions. So yeah, there we have it. Um, yeah, that was that's good. You get anything else you want to bring up before we move on?
Not so much. I mean, I'm trying to think. God, I don't even know. I'm kind of blanking out now.
I don't want to leave you hanging and be like, fuck, why didn't we talk about that?
I don't know. I don't.
No, nothing.
No.
We've said it all.
We
Chris,
have said it all.
Chris has literally, we've gotten and made him speechless.
I'll be in London next week doing the show from London, so that'll be interesting.
It is probably going to be like just like you're doing it now from Canada.
I'll be talking with an English accent the whole time. Quite excited.
Can you
to
do
go.
like a Cockney? Do a Cockney.
Oh, right, mate. Yeah, sure, mate. Thank you for sending me. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna probably go to the Kubrick exhibit on the Monday because I have the Monday day off.
You should thank my son because his birthday fell on that
weekend. Thank your son. Thank him for having a birthday.
I can't go. It's my kid's birthday. I don't want to have to pay therapy bills because I wasn't there.
The X-Men over me.
That's right. I chose. I chose wisely. So I'm going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings and Dave and Buster's, and you'll be at Dark Phoenix in London.
I'm curious as to whether it's going to be a good movie or not, though. I am very curious.
Nah. I'll be interested to hear what you say or what you think.
Cautiously optimistic, I guess, but I don't know. It could be one.
I'm curious about the Hans Zimmer score. I think more than anything.
I feel like the score is going to be great, no matter what. Like it's going to have probably a really good score.
That's what maybe that's not a good sign if that's what
that is the thing I'm most excited about the movie as well. Though I wish he was on the list of people that were up for interviews.
Oh man, that would be the shit, dude. That'd be like talking to one of my fucking lifelong heroes.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, that's it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. Happy to have you. Please go check us out on the Beard and the Bald Instagram, Beard and the Bald podcast. We are doing a very shitty job of updating it, but we are working on it. And it is.
Are you doing the live show again after Game of Thrones next week?
Yes. So yeah, next week I'll be back reviewing the final episode, and then also doing.
People were tuning in after a while. It started off slow, but then it got pretty good towards the end.
Yeah. I think we had like 200 people in there at one time. So we've gotten quite a few views on it on the TV Trailers channel. So that's good. People seem to at least be watching it. So yeah, I'll be back next week to do another kind of recap and discussion with you guys in a chat. Listen to what you guys have to say and, offer my thoughts and perspective along the way. And you get to see my studio, aka my living room. So who doesn't want to tune in for that?
I'm sitting in my kitchen right now, so.
So that'll be next week. This episode will be up on Friday, so that's when you're listening to this, which is today, Friday. Not Friday for us, but Friday for you.
Mm-hmm. It's Monday for us.
It's like MCU time travel. Don't worry about it. Oh, fuck. Who knows what could happen this week?
Who knows?
By the time this goes up, all the news, so much news. Go check us out on iTunes. Give us a nice 5-star review. Tell us that you enjoy the show and that it rocks.
Tell us you love us.
And then you love us because we need it. Otherwise, if we lose all the people that love us, then we're going to go full Dracarys and we're going to burn everything.
Oh.
Chris won't, though. He's Canadian. He's not going to burn shit.
Not going to do nothing, eh?
He just burned some toast.
I did.
All right, so that's it for us this week. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.